Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of Social Studies eSchool. This is the first video that I will be recording of myself, so it is very possible I will mispronounce things and say things wrong, and you know my brain is old and I mess up my words all the time, so please be patient with me while we go through this together. The screen that I'm looking at right now is on page 3 of your packet for module 1. So that means that you should have seen all of this already, right? This is just like the packets that you have in class with your objective, language objective, your vocab, essential questions, and agenda. So you should have already done your do now, okay? And I want to point this out because going through and grading our modules last week, some of us were missing this, but when you see the green star, that means that you need to type something into the box. So in this situation, which is the first question of your do now, which person do you think more people recognize between Patrice Harris and LeBron James, right? You're going to actually go in here and type, and you can either type in here, choosing one of them. I don't want to give it away, but if I'm just going to type in my name here, right? I can do that. And then fill in what I want to say here because I am famous, right? Or if you want to do your whole on your own, you can do that down here and just rewrite the whole thing. Either one. I can spell my name, I promise. Either one is fine, okay? Please do not write that as your answer because that is obviously not true. But you will need to do that for 2 and 3 as well. Then we're going to go on to our language, our vocab and language activity for the day. Every one of your assignments will have this, and our vocab word for the day is bias, which is one that we've already gone over, so you guys are pros at this already. If we were in class, normally I would have one of you read this, but since I am by myself talking to a computer, I will just read it first today. So, bias. The definition is when a person or source favors one side of an issue or makes judgments based on information that is not entirely true or based on their own personal beliefs or opinions. Right? So the example that we're going to look at today is that Michael loves dogs. Okay? When his mom asked him which of his 2 pets was his favorite, Betty the cat or Doug the dog, Michael chose Doug. This doesn't mean his dog is actually better than his cat. But it does show, however, that Michael's bias led him to this answer. Okay? When we write about bias in sources, we can write it in a couple different ways. We can say someone is biased, or we can say that they have a bias. All right? Bias isn't always negative. You can be biased for or against something or someone. If a source is biased for something, you can use the prefix pro. If a source is biased against something, you can use the prefix anti. In that example above, we can say Michael has a pro-dog bias. We could also say he has an anti-cat bias. All right. I've also included my own example here, just because I know a lot of you guys are already on this trend with me, and I thought it was cool to include. So Miss Dubé loves BTS, and her favorite member used to be Taehyung, or V is his nickname. You could say Miss Dubé was pro-V or biased. Now Miss Dubé likes all 7 members equally because they are all amazing. And those of you who are already hating and pretending to throw up in your mouth, don't hate. Watch the videos. They're amazing. Singing, dancing, rapping, y'all are missing out. But anyways, we are going to move on to our vocab practice. So you would have already clicked this, but know that all of the videos are going to be highlighted in this blue color where it says click for the video. So you should be looking for that. When you see that blue, that means that there's a video coming and that's where you need to click and find it. Okay. So the directions that we're going to do here, and we have 3 questions in this vocab practice. And the directions are the same for all 3 questions. Based on the context clues in each passage, highlight the correct answer that best identifies the bias of the author. And as a review, this highlight is right next to the A up top. Okay. So let's read passage 1 together. Growing up in France, I couldn't believe how much Americans loved American football. Grown men getting dressed up in helmets and beating each other up, it's disgusting. I'm glad I live in a country where we play civilized sports, where we play real football. So hint, if you've like already forgot what bias means, you're like, that word's so weird, I'm not used to it yet. Remember, the definition is just right up here, so you can go back to that. So let's look at number 4. So let's look at the author. What is the author, or what is the bias the author is showing in the passage above? A, because of where he lives, the author has a pro-American bias, believing that American sports are best. Based off of this, do we think that he thinks American sports and American football is the best? I'm hoping you all are answering no out loud, because he is actually called American football disgusting, right? So he is not pro or does not like American sports. B is obviously the answer because I've highlighted it here. Because of where he lives, the author has an anti-American sports bias, believing that European sports such as soccer are the best. Okay, so I've already highlighted it. All I did was I went up here to this, I just chose green and I highlighted it. You can choose any color you want. I just need to be able to see which one you chose. Okay, let's look at the other answers, even though I know it's B. The author shows bias by not giving any reasons why they believe European sports are better. He does, actually, and he says that he thinks that his country, France, which is in Europe, plays civilized sports and real football. So we know that C is not correct. And then D, the author shows bias by expressing only facts and not sharing their opinions at all. Well, he is sharing his opinion, saying it's disgusting, right? So we know that it's not A, C, or D, and the answer is B. You're going to go on and do passage 2, so question 5, and then question 6 on your own. And then you will move on to direct instruction. And if you need extra help with that, I will have another video posted there.